So in The Sims 4, there's this world called Evergreen Harbor from the Eco Lifestyle Pack where you have to vote for green initiatives to improve the world so that it will transform into cleaner streets with more eco-friendly, modernized buildings. But I thought the original state of the world with all of the trash and pollution seems very realistic, and I was inspired to rebuild the starter home called the Rockbridge Springs. And I thought it would be fun to make it super lived in and blend in with the world around it. So here I am just bulldozing the lot and starting with the build, and I haven't built a house or any building for that matter in The Sims 4 from scratch in a very, very long time. I think I've only done it a couple of times since the game came out, and I usually just download houses from the gallery. So this was quite a challenge for me, and I think I'm quite proud of how it turned out. I do still have a lot to learn, but here I'm just like really doing my best to blend this house with the environment and the neighborhood. So you can probably see me going around and looking at the other houses for reference. And all the other houses have this kind of like narrow layout. So I just copied that layout and kind of extended it a little bit on the side just to have more room. And I used these fences from Debug, which I haven't used Debug in like a long, long time. I even had to Google the cheat code for Debug. But yeah, there's these like plants as well and some pine trees that I think I end up not using. But I also found that like abandoned car wreck thing and like a huge tire, which I kept until the very end because I just feel like it looks very realistic. Like maybe it was an old car or something that broke and they just never got rid of it. And then here I'm doing the exterior paneling. But yeah, I was kind of imagining this house to be for a family, a very big family. So there's the mom or maybe the parents, but I was kind of imagining just a single mom who has a teen child, maybe like a son or a daughter, and then twins, so like boy and girl twins, and also an infant. So I imagine a pretty big household living here. So there's a master bedroom and then two kids' rooms upstairs with a bathroom. And then downstairs we have the kitchen and living area and another bathroom, a bigger one, and then also an art studio because I was imagining the mom to be very like artsy. So I made her like a little artist studio with like an easel and a pottery station. So you're going to see that in a moment. But yeah, here I'm just finishing up the exterior. I'm placing down the windows. Actually, before that, I wanted to kind of lay out the house first so I know where to put the windows. And I actually really, really struggled with this. I spent like 3 days building this house because I was just struggling so much with the layout. Like I wanted to have a basement. I knew I wanted to have a basement for the teen kid. But I just couldn't get that to work. Like basements are just really tricky for me. I wanted to make like a separate door because I feel like realistically in houses you would have like a separate door leading to the basement, but it just didn't work with the stairs. So I ended up building like a little shed outside because we had a lot of lawn space. So I thought, why not utilize that? So there's a shed outside, which is also like the laundry room, which if you think about it, is not very practical because you're going to have to bring your laundry outside to wash and dry it. But whatever, it's The Sims, so we can do whatever we want. But yeah, originally I wanted to have the shed a different color, but I ended up making it the same color. It just looks better that way. So yeah, here is the basement that I was talking about, and it has its own bathroom. I was imagining it was just like a storage basement, but the teen kid kind of outgrew the main house, I suppose, and just made the basement into their own bedroom. So it's a lot of like there's a lot of clutter and it's kind of worn down, but it's pretty cool. I mostly just wanted to use the basement treasure skit, I think it's called. There's a lot of good furniture in that and clutter, so I wanted to use that for that particular room. And here I'm just layouting the main house. I was struggling with, how big I wanted the rooms to be and where I want the bathroom to be, but I ended up giving the master bedroom a balcony because I don't know, there's just not that much space in this house as it is. So I thought the mom deserved more space, some outdoor space. So yeah. And then here I'm just laying out the furniture. This is just the placement, just to know where everything will go. So I placed down the couch and the counters and the dining table. And at first I thought it was like just way too open. And I think initially I really wanted the house to feel very cozy and snug. So I ended up kind of closing a lot of the areas with walls just to make it more like smaller and just more compact. So yeah, but I was struggling to figure out like the living room layout and where I wanted the dining table to go. And yeah, at first I didn't even have the art studio, but I thought, I could close up that space and make it into another room so we have an extra activity. So yeah, here I'm just figuring out the layout of the living space, and I knew I wanted to have this like pillar and spandrel situation in the kitchen just to separate the kitchen and the living room. I feel like that looks really nice and just a lot more cozy, I guess. And here I'm just separating the art studio. So yeah, I think what I really struggled most with this build was just the fact that I feel like the shape is very awkward. I honestly, this is a lot of trial and error. I don't know, like, I didn't really think about the layout too much beforehand. So the inside is a little bit awkward, but I think I made it work. Here I'm just placing down the tiles and then figuring out where I want the rooms to be. And I use this dark wood and also some tiling in the bathroom. And I used a different tile for the basement bathroom because I thought it would be like more worn. So I used that like the one with like stains and stuff. And then here I'm doing the kitchen counters. I wanted to use these Royalty and Legacy pack ones, but I ended up using these Parenthood ones. They're basically the same shade, but I feel like this just looks a lot more homey. Like I feel like the other one was just way too fancy. But yeah, I love this sliding window in the kitchen. I feel like that would be really nice, even though the view isn't really great. But yeah, I just put that there. And then it's actually a pretty big kitchen, like, but I feel like the mom would really prioritize having a big kitchen because there's just so many kids and you have to like prep a bunch of food all the time. So yeah, I decided to have a bigger kitchen because I thought, the living room is just like an area to sit down and you don't really need much space for that. And then I used this couch from, I think, Growing Together. I actually really like it. Typically, like maybe in real life, I wouldn't be using this couch because it's like leather. And I don't really like leather couches, but it looked really nice in this room. And I like the fact that there's like pillows and a throw in the back. It just looks really cozy and homey. And then I had this fireplace put down and this rug, which is really pretty. I think it's from Life and Death. And there's like blue and purple shades in the carpet, which I thought matched really well with the pillows. And initially I wanted to have purple as like the accent colors. So I used like a purple curtain, but I ended up using blue because I just thought it was more neutral. And so I have lots of like pops of blue around the living area, and also the front door is blue, so I thought it would work really nice together. And here I'm just placing down a bunch of clutter that I see. I love this like hanging pan thing in the kitchen, and I love that it's blue. It's a really, really nice blue. And then like a coffee station because the mom probably needs that. And I love that vase on the dining room table with like the fallen petals. I think that looks really cool. And then here I'm just furnishing the kitchen. I added a microwave, and yeah, initially I wanted to make this art studio into like an office, but I don't know. I feel like it's just so like generic, and I just wanted to make something a little different. And, you know, I saw the pottery station thing from the businesses and hobbies pack, and I thought that worked really well. And it's actually going to be my first time like using the pottery wheel and the pottery glazing table. But yeah, here I actually decided to extend the house a little bit more because I feel like there was just not a lot of space, and the living space was just really, really cramped. So I extended the art studio and the bathroom so we can have a bigger dining area. And then I'm doing the roofing of the balcony because I realized I forgot about that. And here I'm choosing the window for like the attic area. I suppose I was struggling with this as well, but I ended up adding a couple more windows to the front with like shutters, and I thought that looked really nice. Like it looks like one window but like with a shutter, but it's actually two windows, so it lets a lot of light in. So I really liked that. And then here I'm just doing the bathrooms first because that's usually the part that I dread the most. And I'm using this shower from Parenthood. And I think the wallpaper is also from Parenthood. I love this wallpaper actually. Yeah, and I use the same counters as the kitchen, and then this sink as well, the matching sink. And I also use this bathroom clutter kit, which I love. Like, oh my gosh, these clutters are so realistic and so cute. Like there's this little shelf here on the counter which has like the hairbrush and stuff. I thought this looked really, really cute. So I might have went a little overboard with the clutter, but I don't know. It was just my first time using these items, and they're just really cool. And I thought the downstairs bathroom would be the one that the mom uses the most because it's just much bigger. There's a bathtub, and like the kids probably use the upstairs bathroom a lot more because it's like closer to their rooms. So I wanted to make this bathroom very nice and very lived in, and I put a curtain there, and I was debating on whether to put a wall lamp or not. I think I ended up with the first one, but I was struggling with the options. Like I don't know why, there's a lot of wall lamps, but I just always struggle to find a good one. They're either too big or just weird looking. So yeah, here I'm moving on to the art studio, and like I said, I put in a pottery station from businesses and hobbies, and I think this is, I don't know, I think it fits really well with the mom that I was imagining. So this is kind of like her art studio. I get rid of the bookshelves eventually and replaced it with like a studio backdrop, which I really, really like. I think it's from the artist kit or something, but yeah, it's kind of like a photo studio backdrop, but for painting. And then there's like a little stand here to put your subject. And then I love that little cart beside the studio background. I thought it was really cute. And I put this easel here, which is really cool as well. So I'm just decorating the room. I wanted to put a sink, but it didn't really fit, and it's like the room is like right beside the bathroom, so I just figured the mom could just walk a few steps and wash her brushes and stuff. But yeah, I added like a little curtain here so it looks a lot more cozy, because I mean, I thought the mom wouldn't want to close herself off, if she's working in the studio. Maybe her kids is like playing in the living room or something, and she wants to keep an eye on them. So I didn't put a door there. I just put a little curtain, which I thought was a nice touch. And then here I'm doing the hallway, the foyer area. And I wanted to use a wallpaper with a blue accent. And I originally wanted to use this supernatural wallpaper, which I love. But I don't know, I just felt like in the end it was just too white, I guess, and too bright. Even though it did bring in the blue from the door, which I love, but I think we went with a more neutral wallpaper, like a brownish wallpaper for the upstairs as well. And here I'm adding this dresser, which I really, really like. I think it really ties in the blue from the door very nicely, and also the purple from the living room. And I'm just adding a bunch of clutter. There's like a little coin jar thing, which I love. And then here I'm also adding clutter to the kitchen, and I thought this could be like a little lunch making station. So I have this like um, cookie making clutter, and then a bunch of mugs and everything. And I just really love how this kitchen turned out. I think it's really realistic, and I actually forgot to put a hood. So I did add that at the end. So yeah, and also fire alarm. So don't worry about that. But yeah, this is the kitchen, and I think I ended up going with a lighter tone backsplash or kitchen tile. So it ties in the blue very nicely. And here I'm just adding a lamp. I also really struggle to find good lamps, like ceiling lights, I guess. So I just went with a simple one. I thought it matched the aesthetic of the house. And then I just continued with the decorating the rest of the rooms with more clutter. I love decorating like the tops of dressers. I feel like there's just so much stuff that you can put here. I also added a crocheting kit. I thought the mom would like that, and also like a little toy basket in the living room, because I don't know, I feel like the kids probably play there a lot. So yeah, I added another candle and then some boots in the hallway. I feel like that made sense. And a little rug, which I thought works really nicely and ties in the blue and everything. And also changed the curtain leading to the artist's studio. And then I was figuring out what curtains to use, but I ended up using this like base game little curtain, which I really like. So I think I used that in all of the rooms actually, besides the living room. And I added a couple more pillows on the sofa just to make it more cozy. So yeah, and then here I'm changing the tile in the kitchen and the details of the bathroom. And then I added the wallpaper in the artist studio. I used this one from Royalty and Legacy. I don't know, I just thought it looked really cool. Like it was like very worn, and I feel like that just made sense for an art room. And then here I added like a little bookshelf from the Book Nook kit, I would say. But these are like you can like stack them or like put them next to each other, and I thought that looked really nice. And I just added a couple more clutter items, and I thought it could be like a little seating area, I guess, for you to put on your shoes. And I found this diaper bag as well, I think from the Storybook Nursery kit, which I thought made sense there because maybe like the mom would put the diaper bag there just to like grab and go whenever she needs to leave with the infant. And then I put a couple like picture frames in the front area for family pictures. And then here I'm moving on to the upstairs. I did the bathroom first. I wanted to put a window, but I just feel like it just looks weird from the outside. So there's no windows in the upstairs bathroom, but yeah. So like I said, I was imagining this to be the bathroom that the kids use the most. So I wanted it to be a lot more like childish. So I put that little fish decal on the wall, and I thought that was really cute. And then there's like little shelf for the soaps and stuff. So yeah, I'm just adding a bunch of clutter items here. A soap bar, the toothbrush, and then I use this shelf again, and a hair dryer upstairs. And yeah, that is for the upstairs bathroom. And then here I'm doing the laundry room. I wanted it to be kind of like a utility room, I guess, but I mean, it's not very functional, so I decided to add laundry as well, which I do understand is probably not very practical, but I don't know, I just wanted to utilize the space, and I put the hamper there so it's easier for your Sims to grab their laundry and just wash it. But yeah, I added some clutter, and then here I am starting to furnish the basement, which is the teenager's bedroom essentially. And I found this couch from the basement treasures kit, which I love. I love the shade of the blue and the pink. And I kind of based the room off of that because I don't know, I just really liked it. And I added a little console table and a TV. And I wanted to use a bunk bed, but I don't know, I just ended up using this bed from, I think, Adventure Weights. And I love how the blue kind of ties in the couch and all the blue accents in the room itself. And here I'm adding the kitchen hood and some lights. Yeah, I ended up using this light in the downstairs bathroom, I believe. And then a laundry hamper, and then a little toy box, another toy box actually in the living room, and a coat rack. And this is actually the next day that I'm building this, so I kind of forgot that I was doing the basement. But yeah, here I'm continuing with the basement. And then I found this like really cool rug. I think it's from the Cozy Kitsch kit or something. But yeah, it was just really cool. And then I found this little table. I know I wanted to put a table behind the couch just to kind of separate the area. But I ended up actually putting in a little like vinyl station, which is really cool. I think it's now like one of my favorite items in the game ever. But you'll see here in a moment. And I added a punching bag as well. And I play tested it and it actually works. So your Sims won't get stuck. So yeah, I'm just adding a couple more clutter items. And I thought this teen would like save up their own money and buy a fancier computer because maybe they do like music or something or gaming or streaming. So they would need a better computer. And I found these like murals or graffitis for the wall, and I thought that one worked really nicely. It was like green and like really bold, and I think it works in this room. And here's the vinyl table I was talking about. Oh, I just love this table so much. And it's actually playable, like you can play music on it. So yeah, I thought that was really fitting in this room, and I added another rug here because the floor, I intentionally wanted it to be concrete because, you know, it's a basement. So I thought they would try to make the like room a lot more cozy with a lot of rugs. But yeah, and then I added these like wall details just to make the walls look more worn and like basementy, I guess. And a dresser, which also looks very worn, and then a little hamper and another little like graffiti mural. And I love this one from, I think it's from the Werewolves pack. It looks a little creepy, but I think the colors really work with like the pastel gradient colors. And then that mirror as well on top of the dresser. And then here I'm just adding clutter to the bedside table. I love this open book clutter item. I think it's really cute, and also that coffee mug with the coffee in it. I think that adds a lot of realism to the rooms. And then here I'm moving on to the basement bathroom, and I use this like worn paint wallpaper from City Living, I think, and I thought that worked really nicely with this bathroom. And I added like a little shower and the sink. Like I thought it would be, I don't know, it could have been like a storage closet or something before, but maybe they transformed it into a bathroom. So yeah, because it wouldn't be very practical for them to like go up to the main house to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. So I knew I wanted to have a bathroom here as well. And here I'm just adding a couple of more wall decor. I ended up going with some movie posters near the stairs, which I thought looked really cool. So that is the basement done. And then here I'm moving on to the upstairs floor of the main house. So like I mentioned, I made 3 rooms. So there's one for the twins, which I was imagining is for a boy and a girl. And they are children, and I ended up with these beds. And I like the fact that there's like that they have mismatched beds, because like realistically you wouldn't, I don't know, like I just wanted to make it more realistic and just have them have different beds. So I was imagining the left side, the yellow bed, to be for the boy, and then the floral one to be for the girl. And also we have a desk in here, and also a closet for them to share. So yeah, I just added a bunch of like kids clutter in this room. I think I ended up changing the wallpaper because it was just like way too much pattern. But I knew I wanted to have like a lot of colors and not make it like a sad beige room. Yeah, so I also use this nightstand for the girl side, which I actually never used this swatch, so I was glad I was able to use that. And then this is the boy side with like a little cap and basketball, and then a bunch of like gaming posters, and then just a bunch of clutter, I guess, to make it more lived in. And then I think I added a couch as well, like a little armchair. Yeah, this one. I actually really, really like this one. I think it looks really cozy and it fits really well in like a kid's room. So I put that there. And then here is the nursery for the infant. It's a pretty small space, so I just kept it simple, and I use this wallpaper from Cottage Living. I always love this wallpaper. I think it's really cute. And I just added like a little diaper changing station, a play mat, and a high chair, and of course the crib and a little bookshelf. So I just try to keep the furniture simple there. And then here I'm adding a desk with a computer. I feel like it's very realistic to have like a communal computer in the landing area, because like when I was little, I would have like a communal computer like this where everyone in my family would use to like research or browse the internet or play games, and it was just a core memory. So I think this makes a lot of sense. And I found this wall hanging thing with like a bunch of artsy stuff on it, so I thought that was perfect for the mom. And then here I'm furnishing the mom's room. I know it looks a little bit like grandma-y, but I was just watching Shameless, if you know the TV series, and like one of the characters got like a house from their grandma or something, and it was like really grandma style. So I thought the mom maybe could have gotten this house from like her parents or something, and didn't really have a ton of money to spare for like renovations, so she just kind of made do with whatever the house came with. And so I thought, maybe she is just using her mom's or her parents' old room or something. So yeah, I wanted to use this bed from Horse Ranch. I think it's really cute. Added a bunch of clutter on the bedside table and some hanging wall art. And I just made it into like a pink, green, and yellow kind of color scheme. And I eventually changed the wallpaper because I thought it was just way too much. But yeah, I ended up with this green one, and I thought it looked really nice with the furnishings. And I actually did not end up changing the kids' bedroom's wallpaper. So sorry about that. I thought I changed it, but no, I kept the gingham green wallpaper. And then here I'm furnishing the front porch. It has a card table and some plants, and also I put a bench on the mom's balcony. So yeah, I'm just finishing up the details of the house. I ended up changing the rug on this landing area because it was just too much going on, so I went with this simple one and just left it empty like that because there wasn't a lot of space anyway. So yeah, and then I put a couple bikes out front. I was thinking maybe the kids take their bikes to school or something and just like leave it there. A little mailbox, and then I also did the landscaping, which I never do landscaping. So this is my best attempt. So, maybe you guys can do a better job at landscaping if you download this house, but I just made sure there was some bushes and some flowers just so it looks a lot more realistic. And yeah, and then I added some terrain paint, some soil around the area to make it more realistic. And that is the whole house done. Okay, so I've popped back into live mode, and I want to give you guys a little tour of the finished product. So this is the front entrance, the front porch. We have a little welcome mat, and then if we come in, we have the foyer area, which looks really cozy. And then we go further into the house and we have a bunch of toys in the living room, and then a little chess table here and a lot of games and the fireplace running. And then we have the dining table and with the flower vase that I was talking about, which is really cool with the fallen petals. And then this is the kitchen area. Looks really, really cozy and lived in. And then this is the downstairs bathroom, which I was thinking the mom would use a lot of. So there's a bunch of clutter here. And then this is the mom's art studio. I've had my sim play test the easel, so it actually works. And the pottery table also works, so it's all good. And then upstairs, we go to the landing area, which has the communal computer and a little bookshelf, and then the kids' bathroom. And this is the twins' room. It has the 2 beds, and then a desk and a wardrobe. And then this is the mom's room, which is very pastel green, which I love. And she also has a little like art tablet for her work, I was imagining. And then this is the nursery, very small, very cozy. And this is the mom's balcony. So that is the main house. And then going outside, we can actually go outside from the back here. And then we can go into the shed, which has the little laundry area. And then downstairs is the teenager's bedroom, which I love how it turned out. It has a little like living room space, and then I gave them a little like electric guitar. It's got a bunch of clutter, and then their bed is really cute as well. I love the pattern of the duvet. And then a punching bag, which works. I've play tested it. Ooh. Okay. And then this is like their little office / study area. And I put this little like food clutter here because I thought that would look very realistic. And then have a little mirror in the back and some movie posters. And then their own bathroom. So that is the full house done. I hope you guys liked this build. I know it's like very simple and it might not be my best work, but oh my gosh, I just realized the roof is like clipping. I'm so sorry. Let me fix this really quick. Okay, I fixed it. But if you guys want to download this house, it's available on my gallery with the same username as my YouTube channel, and I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you have any requests on what I should build next or what I should renovate, just let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!